Mr. Chairman, I want to touch very briefly on our investment in the U.S.-Philippine alliance. It's something that I've been deeply invested in and worked alongside my colleague, Senator Kaine, to pass the Philippines Enhanced Resilience Act. We did that as part of the FY 2026 NDAA. This new law authorizes $500 million in foreign military financing grants and $1 billion in FMF loans to the Philippines over the next 5 years. The goal of this is to increase the capabilities and interoperability of the Philippines and in the U.S.-Philippine alliance. So, Mr. Lipton, my question is very simple. Will you commit to making PARA, that's this law, making PARA implementation a top priority of your tenure if you're confirmed?
Senator, thank you very much for that question. I've studied the PARA law, and I've actually enjoyed learning about it. I think it's been amazing that, to my knowledge, that both you and Senator Kaine came up with a bill that allotted $500 million potentially for the next few years and giving to the people of Philippines to spend, but spending with the United States government. My job, if in fact confirmed, it would actually be one of my pets, because I want to learn much more about military situations, and I would absolutely want to learn how to help negotiate and teach the Filipino military how to spend that money.
I think you should plan on working with my staff to make sure that you're as effective as possible in doing that. I look forward to working with you, and I look forward to your confirmation this is going to be a top priority, so thank you. Mr. Edgar, I'd like to turn with you, because I think you're going to make an excellent ambassador to El Salvador. If you think about the work that this administration has done to work with President Bukele to address illegal migration, to strengthen our national security cooperation with that country, I think about President Bukele's leadership. That's allowed El Salvador to dramatically reduce violent crime in that country, including the establishment of a maximum security facility that detains very high-risk criminal offenders. Our two governments have found a way to coordinate on the return of Salvadorian nationals that are involved in criminal activity, and we've done that in a way that's reinforced public safety right here in the United States. Mr. Edgar, you have extensive experience in migration and in homeland security. You've served not only as the Chief Financial Officer of DHS, but you now serve as the Deputy Secretary of the Department of Homeland Security. So I'd be very interested from your perspective to just talk with us about how important El Salvador's cooperation has been to implementing our own homeland security and how you're going to work to institutionalize and strengthen that relationship.
Yeah, thank you, Senator. So El Salvador, big picture, kind of three objectives that we've had working with that country. Number one, national security. So all the counter-narcotics work that has been done has been a joint activity with El Salvador. You just read recently in the news, they busted a cocaine ship off the coast, about 350 miles off the coast. So not only within their Navy, not only within their Coast Guard, but within their police, we've been partnering with them and going through this process of going and interdicting drugs and being a part of that process. Outside of that, in the national security, Haiti has been a really big area of contention. And the thing that we learned with El Salvador is regional migration and regional stability is everything. And so, from the administration's perspective, we really strategically look at El Salvador as being a model that can be emulated when you're surrounded by Nicaragua, Honduras, and making sure that we are able to get countries and like-minded. You see what's going on with Costa Rica, the CCOT being a bad thing, and there's human rights. And, and I'll just say it and take advantage of the opportunity to speak to the other side of the aisle here. I'm a data-focused person. I will look at all the facts. I'm not here to prejudge and say there's nothing going on. But the second area, that's national security. The second area is migration. So within migration, one of the biggest areas we used to have a lot of problems is, President Trump came in and historically shut the border. And it has been one of the biggest accomplishments that we've been able to do at DHS. By doing that, it really kind of started to stop the flow and stemming that was coming up from El Salvador. But we still got really kind of two open items that we still deal with El Salvador on a daily basis. Number one, remigration, or sending folks back, making sure that El Salvador continues to take back its citizens when they come, need to be, after they're detained. The second is transit visas that are happening within their airport. There's a lot of activity goes on within their airport. People come in and then they apply to go from there into the United States. So those are the two main areas. I'd say the last thing that I would just like to hit on really quickly is the economy. So, we talked a little bit about China and what's going on with China there. 2019, El Salvador, before Bukele came to power, there was a kind of an incursion of what was going on with China. And they've been able to get a national stadium, a library, water treatment plants. We need to make sure that America stays its leading trading partner. I'm not saying push them out completely, but right now we have a $2.2 billion trade surplus with El Salvador. We need to kind of continue, and the key to their economy, the key to kind of helping that take place is security. And so, the balance between the democracy of El Salvador and them getting the folks and getting to a safe environment provides investor security and confidence in how we'll invest. And if confirmed, one of my big roles will be to kind of help U.S. companies go and have a great opportunity within El Salvador.
I think that last point's a critical one. Senator Kane and I traveled through the Western Hemisphere on a very, very fruitful trip, and it was clear to us that the United States needs to be more present, our commercial interests need to be more present in the region, and China has certainly taken advantage of that void. We need to step up. Thank you very much. Thanks, Mr. Chairman.